$1 million prizes to be handed out. And fun fact, Kenny Florian, Kayla Harrison is the only returning champion. She's the only one who's cashed a PFL $1 million check, which means we are going to watch lives change tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it changes in two ways, right? You establish yourself as elite in the sport by becoming a world champion here in the PFL, and you get life-changing money by winning $1 million tonight.
Absolutely. I don't think it gets any better than this. This isn't, by the way, our very first pay-per-view. I fought in this sport for 10 years before I had a crack at a title like that or a chance at that kind of money. The PFL, the meritocracy that it is, changes people's lives, and that's what makes us different.
You saw right there the best ever, best looking light heavyweight champion in PFL
That is not
history.
true. That is not true, but congratulations. That was awesome.
I tried. All right, let's talk about our main event tonight. Two-time champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and Kayla Harrison. The superlatives all apply. She's absolutely unbelievable, and she's taking on Larissa Pacheco again tonight. Randy, how does she get it done?
Well, I think she does what Kayla does. She's going to go out, bide her time, find a way to close the distance, try to get her hands on her opponent. Those two judo gold medals come in real handy at that point. Her ground and pound is on point. Her transition skills, that's her ability to cross that distance between her opponent and take them to the ground, is as good as anybody I've ever seen in this sport. She's done a great job there. She's tenacious. I would call her the most dominant athlete in the sport of mixed martial arts right now.
All right. She's already beat Larissa Pacheco twice. We're not going to pretend that isn't true, but a very different Larissa Pacheco shows up inside the smart cage tonight. She's on a hot streak, Kenny.
No question about it. Pacheco has turned herself into, in my opinion, the hardest hitting female on the planet right now when it comes to mixed martial arts. You look at everything she has done, the way that she looks, she is in phenomenal condition. You look at what she's done as far as her 5 knockouts, all in the first round. She's fighting with way more confidence. She's been training here in the United States in preparation for this fight here against Kayla Harrison, and she's walking around smiling like she knows something that other people just do not.
It's going to be an incredible main event. We'll be talking about it a lot more, and we'll get some advice from our betting experts, Coach and Ian, on how we're playing that one. But it's a huge team covering the World Championships tonight, including Dan Hardy, all the way from London. Dan, welcome to the show.
Harrison's been able to achieve so far as a martial artist has been absolutely incredible. A world champion in judo, an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, and then deciding to tackle a different sport, taking on a mixed martial arts career, remaining undefeated, using those judo skills in the cage to submit and dominate her opponents. You know, winning 2 championships already, and tonight she's going for a 3rd championship. I mean, what an incredible career as a mixed martial artist and as a judo practitioner as well. Over to you, Sean.
All right, pay-per-view, PFL's first ever pay-per-view. How do you buy it? There's a QR code on the bottom of your screen. Take a picture of it, click the link, and click Buy Now. If you don't want to do that, you can go to espnplus.com/PFL, follow the links, click Buy Now on the pay-per-view. I promised you betting advice. We know that Kenny needs it. We have experts for that. Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. Coach, Ian, how are we playing tonight?
Oh, Sean, it is so good for the 2nd year in a row for us to be back part of the PFL World Championships. And I got to tell you, after our first pick tonight, you'll be playing with house money. You won't even worry about the price for the pay-per-view. But Ian Parker, you got to have stars on pay-per-view. We have that tonight. Kayla Harrison, she's still north of -800. So what do we do? Talk to me.
Kayla Harrison has proven to us time and time again she deserves every penny of that -800 and north. However, she's fighting someone in Pacheco who, and the guys have mentioned, this is not the same Pacheco we saw in fight number 1 or fight number 2. This is someone who's in much better shape. Her hands, the striking, it's so precise, and the power is there. If Kayla can't get this fight to the ground, she's going to be this is going to be a tight competitive fight. So for me, -800 does not work, and I don't want to throw money on Larissa yet. So we're going to go to our fight props here, and as you can see, we got a plethora of things by finish, by KO, TKO, all that good stuff. I'm still bypassing that. I'm going to the rounds. Last year, Coach, we did over 1.5 with Kayla versus Taylor Guidardo. I'm going same thing here, over 1.5. I think Pacheco makes it into the championship rounds, round 4 and 5. I think that stand-up is going to be very threatening. threatening. I think if she gets taken back down, her jiu-jitsu defense will be more than sound enough to get back up. So we're going to go over 1.5 rounds in this main event.
And Ian, a quick reminder to everybody at home, all of the championship fights tonight, they are 5 rounds, not just 3. Still to come here on the show, we'll have our pick in the co-main event, the other championship fights, and something, Sean, that I like to call Parker's perfect parlay. I'll fill you in on the details in just a few minutes. Sean, back to you.
Some alliteration still to come. All right. I like it. How about that, Randy Couture? The Duck says over 1.5 rounds. Now, we've seen this matchup before, Larissa Pacheco and Kayla Harrison, and it was decisions, right?
2019 decision, and Kayla was very unhappy with that. But this is a little bit different Kayla now. She's let go of some of that perfectionism. She is hell to deal with, honestly.
It is one of the biggest fights in PFL history. 15-0 undefeated queen of mixed martial arts Kayla Harrison against an all-new Larissa Pacheco, who's riding a streak of 5 straight first-round knockouts. There's Kayla Harrison.
I told you, I put you on your back, and I messed you up.
Larissa Pacheco on a different level.
Surgical punching with big power.
An armbar victory for the baddest woman on the planet.
I am the queen of MMA.
Oh, Pacheco, apocalyptic down.
Kayla rushes in. Top of the takedown.
Pacheco with a big TKO. Kayla Harrison secures back-to-back PFL championship.
Pacheco, we know she only needs 1 punch to put her opponent away.
It doesn't get any better than this in the sport of mixed martial arts. The biggest fight in PFL history. If that doesn't get the juices flowing, I don't know what will. That QR code, it's still on your screen. Take a picture of it, follow the link, and click buy now. But it's not just about the main event, though. I told you that there are 6 world title fights on the card tonight, and the co-main event promises to be an absolute banger. Brendan Loughnane and Bubba Jenkins squaring off at 145 pounds, and both of these men have rounded themselves into complete mixed martial artists. You know about that man's striking. Great boxing background, precision and power in the hands. And how about his opponent, Bubba Badman Jenkins? Wrestling credentials above reproach. Former Division I national champion at ASU. But his hands are live now, too. start our nights with that man, Biagio Ali Walsh, the grandson of legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. Legendary doesn't even really cover it when it comes to that man's grandfather. Nonetheless, Biagio Ali Walsh in his PFL debut. But of course, tonight is all about our main card on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. Kayla Harrison and Larissa Pacheco in a main event. Brendan Loughnane and Bubba Jenkins will talk about that co-main. Delia Sheffel, Ladd, Bud. OAM and Stevie Ray promises to be an incredible high-level fight. Sada Busi, his first title opportunity against Delano Taylor. And Robert Wilkinson squaring off against Amari Akhmedov, because if you want action, Kenny Florian, you start with the light heavyweight, okay? The PFL World Championship starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. To buy, just scan that QR code on your screen right now. We're making it very easy for you. Or, if you don't want the QR code, you can go to espnplus.com/PFL and click Get Now. Sean O'Connell and Randy Couture and Kenny Florian back once again in the pre-show, getting closer to the action. Let's talk about that co-main event, because I promised we'd talk about the co-main event, and I'm really excited for this one. Brendan Loughnane is more than just a striker at this point in his mixed martial arts career, and we saw that in his semifinal against Chris Wade.
Yeah, no question. That's when really he was at his best, but he had to deal with a lot of adversity heading into this season, had some injuries, he was pretty busted up, but he gained a lot of strength, a lot of experience, and a lot of confidence from that adversity. Was able to battle back, showed how tough he is mentally and physically, and then against Chris Wade here in the UK, showed how technically sound he is and how smart of a fighter he is, utilizing his full mixed martial arts set to get it done against a quality wrestler in Chris Wade.
Brendan Loughnane, by the way, he's never lost to someone in the PFL who hasn't gone on to win a championship. His only loss to Movlid Haibulayev, who went on after that semifinal to win a championship. Let's talk about Brendan Loughnane's opponent, Bubba Jenkins. Same thing I said about Loughnane as just a striker becoming a mixed martial artist. Obviously, that's true of Bubba Jenkins. We've never seen his striking this good.
No, absolutely. He's been working very, very diligently with Dewey Cooper and bringing that striking back out to the forefront. I think everybody has that match that puts things in perspective for them. The 2021 season where Bubba Jenkins lost to Chris Wade is exactly that. He's checked his ego at the door. He's gone out, put himself to work, becoming a better, more well-rounded fighter. We've seen his hands come out this season. He's put himself in this position. What's interesting is the friendship these two have developed over their disdain for Chris Wade, but that's got to go to the side now. Let's see who wins it tonight.
Something tells me that they'll be able to put aside the buddy for $1 million opportunity. An incredible co-main event. We'll take a closer look at the matchup.
I'm stronger than Brandon. I'm faster than Brandon. I'm younger than Brandon. I'm smarter than Brandon. I am going to destroy Brendan Loughnane.
We know each other, we've seen each other. We've both fought on the same show, 7 times now? I just have advantages in MMA. Like, he grew up wrestling in a leotard, wrestling. He needs to make his mind up. Yesterday he told me he's going to wrestle me, and he also told me he's going to knock me out. I don't know what the game plan is, but it seems like he's going to do both in the same night. We'll see. Friday night, you get to show me you're a 5-rounder if it gets there, so let's see.
But when it comes down to what the fans have been waiting for, what we all have been waiting for, what we want to see is Loughnane versus Jenkins.
You know what I like about those guys? Great talkers. Even better fighters. You don't want to miss the co-main event. How are we betting the co-main event between Loughnane and Jenkins? For that, we go to our experts. Coach Ian.
Yeah, Sean, the talking makes this a great pay-per-view fight tonight. But let's get right into it, Ian, because these are two guys with two different styles coming off career-defining fights. How do you see this one?
Coach, I liked a lot what Kenny said, how Loughnane struggled a little bit earlier on, but then he peaked. He had the best performance of the season against Chris Wade. He shut Wade's wrestling down. He was able to outstrike him. I just don't know if I see that happening against Bubba Jenkins and the improvements he has made. Randy talked about the striking, how it's come to the forefront, and it really has, and his cardio is picked up. If he can go and really dictate the narrative and pace, I have a hard time seeing Loughnane stopping every single takedown Jenkins has. So as an underdog at plus 150, Coach, we're going with the baddest man on the planet, Bubba Jenkins, to win the PFL championship this year.
Well, that is very Ian Parker-esque to find a dog that you like to bark tonight, and that's exactly what we have. But Sean O'Connell, still to come here on the show. We've got plenty more championship fights that we still have to break down and meet everybody. You know where, at the pay window. Sean, back to you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Ian. All right, as he said, we have more championship fights. Can we talk about my favorite championship fight now? Can I have a minute to talk about my favorite championship fight? Light heavyweight. The cool guys fight at light heavyweight.
Oh, gosh.
All right. The big guys fight at light heavyweight. And we start our title bouts with Rob Wilkinson, Omari Akhmedov. Randy, what makes this fight so special?
Well, Rob Wilkinson, in my opinion, I mean, he's just been on fire. He's had all finishes in the regular season. Only one of those made it to the second round. He's just come up from 185, and I think coming up and not cutting the weight has been a huge difference for him. He's sharp, his wrestling defense is great, and his striking is on point.
Let's take a look at the light heavyweight world championship. Another right hand from Akhmedov, snaps the head back. And
oh, what a finish by Wilkinson.
Wilkinson pounding away with the right hand. Referee see enough. 5 points. Robert Wilkinson punches his ticket to the 2022 championship. A successful PFL debut. Omari Akhmedov, submission victory, the 5 points, and clinches himself a spot in the light heavyweight playoff.
My first opponent, he go to sleep.
Dives down to the right hand.
Second opponent, sleep too.
Bullis might go out, he's out, unconscious.
Wilkinson, sleep.
Two big-time finishers. We're about 8 minutes away from action inside of our smart cage. More on the DraftKings pre-fight show when we come back. The PFL on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Celsius. The PFL on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Celsius. Essential energy, live fit. Bud Light, make good times great. Drink responsibly. Geico, switch today and see all the ways you could save. And by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the PFL. Welcome back to the DraftKings pre-fight show. PFL World Championship is minutes away. Well, the beginning is minutes away. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 title fights and a featherweight showcase feature smack dab in the middle of that card. Another look at the odds as they stand right now. Kayla Harrison is a minus 800 favorite. You do not want to miss this card, and you can only see it on pay-per-view. Starting at 8 Eastern, ESPN Plus pay-per-view to buy. Scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. We make it real easy for you. You can also go to espnplus.com/PFL and click Buy Now. The action will start right here on ESPN Plus. Great fights. Marlon Moraes is back inside the smart cage. Natan Schultz and Magomed Karamov are former PFL champions, squaring off in showcase bouts with Jeremy Stevens and Gleison Chibao, respectively. Dakota Ditcheva climbs into the smart cage for the second time in her career. She's a big-time favorite there. My palms are getting sweaty. Excitement in the air. We're minutes away from this fight card starting, and I don't think we've gotten all of our bets yet. So we'll send it back out to our experts, Jonathan Coachman, Ian Parker. Teach me.
Oh, Sean, we're here for that. And we're just minutes away, so we've got to fast forward. Ian, let's start with light heavyweights. We're talking Wilkinson and Akhmedov. Where are we going?
I'm going Razor Rob Wilkinson here. He has been flawless. We've seen Omari Akhmedov get dropped in one of his fights. I think Wilkinson's better everywhere. We're going to go him and place that bet right now, Coach.
Oh, I like it. Then what up next? Sadabu C and Delano Taylor. They are the welterweights. Talk to me.
Look, Delano Taylor, this is a great story coming from the Challenger Series and then knocking off Rory McDonald. Great name for the resume, but for me, this is the year of Sadabu. I think he gets it done. His defensive takedowns have been fantastic. He's the better striker. He's got the experience of the 5 rounds. Let's go see at minus 180.
And how about the big boys? How are we looking at that fight? Now, this is a rematch, but you got to give me something.
I'm going to give you something, Coach. It's 2 words. Walking trouble, Ante D'Elia. He got it done. I love that nickname, and I'm scared to even walk next to him. Look, this is a guy, he got it done by a knockout. He is better everywhere in this fight. I give credit to Matthias Schemmel for everything he's done this season, but this is Ante D'Elia's year. I said at the beginning of the season, I say it now, we're going to take him inside the distance.
And I also say that not every pick has to be a serious one. So we decided, what if we put all 6 of Ian Parker's bets together? Called it the Parker's Perfect Parlay or Championship Parlay, whatever you want to do. And let's let the big board use those numbers. Ian, you are up.
Coach, it's only perfect if it hits. So we're going to start off with minus 200, Rob Wilkinson. We're going to add Sadabu C. All right, let's get him in there as well. We are going to go OAM, the Canadian gangster. The odds already, we're at plus numbers. Let's go up, Ante D'Elia. Now, back to the co-main event. Watch these odds with the plus. We're going to shoot at Bubba Jenkins. And last but not least, we're going to go to the Kayla Harrison fight. I'm going back to over 1.5 here. And, Coach, we going back to it now. We got a monster parlay here. Let's go.
Oh, I like it a lot, and I love that final number. Of course, we'll update it throughout the night on live on pay-per-view. Now, there are other fights before ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Give me one name that you're looking at and say, you know what, I really like him tonight.
Coach, you know, we got Moraes versus Moraes here, and listen, it's great that we got Marlon in the PFL. However, his last few fights, if he doesn't get the knockout, he gets knocked out. He is fighting someone who is a very good striker, good takedown defense. He looked excellent in the clinch this season. And at almost even money, I'm going with Shimon Moraes in this fight. I think that he gets it done. I question the chin of Marlon. We're going to go with Shimon in this one.
Great pick, taking Moraes in this fight, Ian Parker. All right, it is almost time for fights. We have one more very important thing to do. That's the Bravago bold prediction of the night. And when I saw this number, Ian, we have to give it a little bit of a sprinkle. What am I talking about?
Coach, this should be called the bold, Bravago bold prediction here. Look, plus 1,600. I think if Bubba Jenkins can get the back of Brendan Loughnane in the scramble, he can get that rear naked choke. It's plus 1,600 for a reason, but I'm loving it. Let's go. Bubba Jenkins by submission.
And you can get that at DraftKings Sportsbook, which is the official sports betting partner of the PFL. And during tonight's championship, you can bet $5 on any fighter and win $100 in free bets. Win or lose. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code PFL when you sign up. It's time to get things going. Me and Ian will be here all night long, but Sean, we're going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Ian. I love the betting big board. It breaks it down so even Kenny Florian can understand it. It's great. Without further ado, we are moments away from action inside of our PFL Smart Cage, getting our championship night started at Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden. We'll be back with fight action.
For 2 women and 10 men, the countless days and nights of training, grinding, and dreaming of this moment are over. As one night can change everything. Tonight, November 25th, New York City, 12 fighters from around the world, 6 championship fights, and $6 million on the line. Plus, the greatest fighter of a generation looks for her 3rd world championship.
Kayla Harrison, 2 back. Hard as a tap. Taylor pulls the upset.
This is one of the biggest nights in MMA history. Tonight, November 25th. This is the PFL 2022 World Championship, presented by Celsius.
Take a look at the PFL Smart Cage. 6 world title fights will play out inside of that cage later tonight. 6 $1 million checks will be distributed. Kayla Harrison and Luis Pacheco in our main event. Brendan Loughnane, Bubba Jenkins in the co-main. And 4 other world title bouts, plus a featherweight showcase featuring Aspen Ladd's PFL debut. All still to come, beginning on ESPN Plus pay-per-view tonight. 8 Eastern is when that starts. Kayla Harrison still a big-time favorite, as is Ante Dilia. And OAM, the Canadian gangster, sneaking in at minus 425. Stevie Ray's pulled off some upsets already this year. What does the guy have to do to get a little respect? 6 world title fights. You can't ask for a bigger night. But first, the action begins on our undercard right here on ESPN Plus. Biagio Ali Walsh and Tom Gracer are about to walk to the Smart Cage for an amateur showcase bout at lightweight. Dakota Ditcheva is a huge favorite as she walks into the Smart Cage for the 2nd time. Catherine Korginas makes her PFL debut. How about this? 2 former PFL world champions, Magomed Karamov and Natan Schultz, are both big-time favorites in their bouts against Gleison Chibao and Jeremy Stevens. And even money in the Marias versus Marias bout. Same odds, same last name. They're just making it as confusing as possible. The action begins, as I mentioned, in amateur lightweight action. The grandson of the legendary Muhammad Ali, Biagio Ali Walsh, taking on Tom Gracer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now time to begin our first bout of the evening. Making his way to the cage, Tom Gracer.
Tom Gracer, amateur PFL debut, 4 wins by stoppage, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. He fights out of Denver, Colorado. He's the least bit impressed his opponent is related to one of the greatest boxers of all time.